You're listening to The Paul Higgins Show, where ambitious tech consultants come to unlock their potential. After 18 years as a global leader, I launched several businesses, culminating in a successful exit. I'm sharing what I learned, plus what's working now from mentoring tech consultants. You will hear leaders within our industry to help you build a business you love that allows you to do what you want. If you are looking for immediate cash flow wins to fuel your growth, go to our free ebook at paulhigginsmentoring.com/roadmap. Imagine the easy referrals have dried up and you need to do outreach. But who do you trust? Hi, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to 549 of the Paul Higgins Show. In today's podcast, I talked to Tom about increasing leads at the top of the funnel through outreach. Very important topic for you right now. Tom Simpson is the founder and CEO of We Are Team Rocket, a B2B growth marketing agency based in both the UK and Sri Lanka. They support businesses to achieve predictable revenue by providing omni-channel outreach services to automate top of the funnel lead generation via cold outreach and intent-empowered outreach, which is ABM. With 20 years of experience in omni-channel B2B outreach, growth hacking and top of funnel pipeline automation, Tom knows what it takes to bring innovative growth strategies to life. Tom, you can see him on our YouTube channel, which is Paul Higgins Mentoring. And what I'll do now is hand you over to Tom from weareteamrocket.com. Tom, great to have you here.
No, pleasure to join you, Paul. Been looking forward to this.
Yeah, same here. We've had a great working relationship. We've been known each other for 2 years and always said that we needed to get you on the show. So I'm really glad that you're finally here. But why don't we kick off with who your ideal clients are and what problems you'd love to solve for them?
Ideal clients are our niche that we really specialize in. I was working with agencies, consultants, SaaS companies, tech companies, and IT service product related companies. That kind of makes up about 80% of the roster whom we support.
Yeah, and sort of size, geography, is there any?
Because we grew out from being a UK business originally, about 60% of our client base is in the UK, but over the last 2 or 3 years, we've definitely gone global. We have kind of hotbeds in Israel, Silicon Valley, Singapore, and Australia and the US. So really the tech-centric zones in particular.
Yeah, great. And what are some of the problems that you're solving for these companies?
Ultimately, they're outsourcing their top of funnel lead generation, demand generation requirements to us, automate their growth, automate their lead gen, but doing so in a cost efficient, scalable manner.
Yeah, great. And top of funnel, tell me what your definition of top of funnel is.
Definition is ultimately driving relevant connections, conversations, leads, meetings, and opportunities straight into our clients' inboxes and pipeline. So it's that first initiation of getting them connected to the right people, engaging and intriguing those people, and physically getting them to respond and speak with our clients, be that a LinkedIn conversation, an email dialogue, or ideally a meeting that we're setting up on their behalf.
And do you, if I look at, and I know that you do both LinkedIn and email, which we'll cover those in a moment. But if you look at the marketing perspective, then you've got the outreach at the top of the funnel, and then you've also got, I suppose, the conversion piece. Out of those 3 pieces, is the middle piece the place that you play? Have I got that right?
We really hone and double down on the top of funnel piece. So we generally hand over the baton of responsibility to our clients once we have physically driven interest on that behalf. So that could be a meeting straight into the diary, or it could be a positive response where the lead is asking a technical question, or for more examples, case studies within a specific space. We generally feel that our clients are always better equipped to nurture the lead once they are engaged and asking the right questions, or obviously when they've booked in to speak to them, they're a much better place to convert.
Before we go into the specifics of email versus LinkedIn, I know I help clients, you're helping some of our clients, which we'll touch base on, but everyone's finding it pretty difficult at the moment, especially in the tech space. If you look at Salesforce, recording this in the middle of 2024, their share price dropped by 16% because of their under market expectations? Like how are you finding it out there for your clients at the moment? Is it, easier, harder, or the same as what it was?
So yeah, definitely we're seeing that trend. I think there's no question that in the last couple of years, all forms of kind of marketing and outreach have got harder, both outbound and inbound. From an outbound perspective, I think that's been compounded by some of the changes around email outreach that kind of Google have brought in, kind of forcing the need to be more targeted, more relevant, work at lower volumes to ensure that people aren't burning their domains or going into spam. So that's had a big knock-on effect, how to succeed when it comes to email outreach. But other than that, I think it's clear that more people than ever are using automation tools as well. So I think everybody's inboxes are more saturated and fatigued in terms of the number of people that are trying to pitch them from every which way, every day into their email inbox and LinkedIn inbox. So it's definitely much harder to stand out than ever before as well because of that fact. But yeah, it just forces the need to be more targeted, more relevant, more personalized, and you can still win, you can still succeed. It outbound, but yeah, things are definitely changing, and the balance of what working is different to what it was before.
And is the change, just part of the cycles of outreach, or you think it's more significant than that at the moment?
Yes, I think it probably is cyclical. LinkedIn and the email providers are always changing their algorithms to try
Yes.
and adjust to the right balance. They don't want their users to be bombarded and lose faith in the tool. So yeah, it's a constant game of adapting to what the protocols of the time are, for sure.
Right. Well, let's now sort of talk email versus LinkedIn as sort of the two most supposed approaches that work the best from an outbound perspective. How do you decide for a client what's the right mix between both or one?
Sure. So we get asked this a lot, and there's definitely been a flip in the balance in the last 2 or 3 years. As a lead gen agency, we've been kind of doing this for 11 plus years now in terms
Yes.
of executing mass email campaigns, personalized email campaigns, and LinkedIn outreach at scale. So we've kind of seen the changes over time. Historically, we definitively drove the majority of the leads and meetings we were booking for our clients via email.
Yes.
Probably about 65% used to come via email outreach and about 35% via LinkedIn outreach, kind of a fair A/B test. But in recent years, that dynamic has definitely flipped, and it's probably the polar opposite now. We get around 65% of the leads and meetings we're driving via utilizing LinkedIn at scale, and emails just declined and just got harder and harder over time, especially this year with the changes that have come in from Google. So if someone was to use a single channel, we would definitely be recommending utilize LinkedIn, but do it at scale, manage multiple personas to give you that scale. We generally only recommend email when it's working with a client with either a high ticket deal size or in an ultra competitive landscape where they have lots of competitors fighting for the same decision makers. And in those situations, one has to take an omni-channel kind of multi-touch point approach. You need to use both LinkedIn, email, warm calling, ads, all targeted to the same people in a joined up way in order to get traction with those people.
Yeah. Look, I know from my experience, I think it's just on 10 years doing outreach, and with being as a in the tech consulting industry, I think definitely LinkedIn is more prominent than email. I've seen that. The hard thing with LinkedIn is that the posting isn't the impressions have certainly gone way down from what they were. So I think you've got the messaging is even becoming more important because the in the funnel awareness of posts are sort of becoming less prominent. As far as I know that one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on is to talk about a client that we're working with at the moment jointly, and I just wanted to sort of quickly set that up for you. What are some of the problems that tech consultants normally face? Well, you've got lots of tasks on, right, like everyone in life, but you're juggling a lot of things, and the things that you're normally juggling is delivery. And you sort of you want to build the team, but you don't always have the team to cover the workload. And what's the thing that normally misses out? It's sales, right? And therefore you have all great intent, but if you look at the number of hours you spend a week on sales, it's far less than you should, and you don't have the follow up, etc. So that's where we've got where our team Rocket, Tom and his team, to help with some of our clients to come in and play that role where the strategy is done by the client, and then effectively Tom's team goes and look, they add value, significant value, which I'll talk about. It's not just go and do this. They give back, but it really means that you're upping your hours of sales to get leads. And for a lot of tech consultants, the easy leads that came from referrals or from vendors have started to get a lot tighter. As I said, Salesforce are down in their total numbers, so therefore the amount of leads are coming through. So some people have been caught with their shorts down when the tide's gone out, which is a tougher economy. So that's sort of the setup. And Tom, you and I are working with a client at the moment. I just, I'd like you to just sort of summarize how you're seeing that work at the moment, how you can support other tech consultants to, fill top of their lead funnel.
Yeah, so there's three main ways that we ultimately go about that, which range from providing a done with you service through to a done for you service, and then also our kind of staff augmentation solutions as well that kind of help unlock them and their team to allow them to focus on their high level tasks. But from the demand generation, lead generation support, it's ultimately a case of working with them to truly understand their ICP and their competitive landscape, immerse ourselves into their USPs, their elevator pitch, the collateral and case studies they have within the business at present, which allows us then to use our centralized expertise of knowing kind of what's working elsewhere, what are the best strategies that work to that particular segment, and ultimately aggregate their prospect universe in kind of an ultra clean, segmented, transparent way so that we can be completely aligned with them that, yes, those are the people they want to get in front of, that they want to be talking to. And then ultimately, again, use our centralized experience of having been doing this for 10 plus years to craft the messaging, the sequencing, the cadences that are befitting for either LinkedIn outreach or email outreach, ensuring it's on brand and putting their best foot forward. And yeah, it's those elements of bringing the right data together, the right strategy, and the optimal messaging that plays upon the key USPs and key collateral that's available in the business. And even if they don't have that, we would quickly point it out that, well, your competitors or this company use something like this, be it a battle card or a white paper or a webinar as a hook, and so that they can take heed of that and work to enable us to have something like that we can utilize to engage and intrigue their audience and automate that extra flow of leads and opportunities coming in.
Yeah, and just a reminder that we're talking to Tom Simpson, episode 549 of the Paul Higgins Show, and all the links, etc., will be in the show notes. But I think the biggest thing for me, Tom, is I've used with myself directly and clients, I've probably used 15 agencies in the last 10 years in different formats. Most have been client side, where I've introduced someone to do work for a client. But the biggest thing for me is that the target list, right? What I often see is just recycling of lists, and someone will say, yes, we'll get you, 6 calls a month or whatever. And unfortunately, they just use the same data lists. It's very generic and they don't get specific enough. And unfortunately, 3 months later, you've paid them thousands of dollars and realize that you haven't got anywhere. So most of my role as a mentor is normally to stop those. So someone will say, yeah, I'm using an outreach company. I'm paying them whatever, a couple of thousand to, in some cases, 5,000 a month. And I'll say, okay, well, what are the results? Oh, look, we haven't got anything in 3 months, but we're hopeful. I'm like, okay, well, I know it takes a bit of time, but show me their process, show me their list, show me how they've gone about getting the data. And to be honest, it's normally fairly poor. And that's what impressed me about We Are Team Rocket and your team, Tom, is that you really make sure that data is accurate. It is got, and I know we can go through the different levels of qualifying that data, but I think that's the key difference, right? Because sending the messages is also really important, but if you haven't got the right audience in the first place, I think, pardon the expression, but you're just peeing against the wind. And I see so many people do that. And if you're one of those at the moment, I think you should really question the provider that you're using to say where are they getting their data from, how close does it match it? Because Sales Navigator these days alone and just doing generic filters or buying lists that they buy for every client isn't right. So that's my perspective on it, Tom. What about your perspective? How do you find the industry in general around the quality of the data?
Sure. So it's definitely become more essential than ever before to ensure that the data you're using is as accurate, as clean, as segmented, as verified as can be. Like LinkedIn's changes and email outreach changes in terms of the volumes that you can now get away with, given that they're now so inhibited, it forces every business to ensure that they're only targeting people that your proposition is relevant. So you just can't afford wastage anymore. And LinkedIn, you can only send so many connect requests each month. You have to ensure that those people are the exact ones that you need to be talking to or should be talking to. And exactly the same for email. It's become imperative to kind of take a kind of a blended approach to how you go about that list building task. It's no longer possible to rely upon a single tool as good as SalesNav can be, or Apollo, or Cognizant, or ZoomInfo. You can't just plug and play that data anymore. You'll end up with 20-25% bounce rate. You'll burn your domain. You'll be in spam, and you've wasted both time and money. It's probably one of our biggest USPs is the fact that yes, we're a UK company, but really we're a dual location company with kind of offices in Colombo and Sri Lanka, and that allows us to have a large in-house team of researchers, data enrichers, data verification specialists that have access to all those great tools, and they use them as a starting place, but ultimately we use multiple tools conjoined, but then follow a process of manually checking each company. Does that fit the client's ICP criteria? Are they using that particular software? And then same at lead level as well, like is this prospect actually still at that company still? Is this email address that we've got from Apollo actually going to get delivered by just doing a manual test on it? So it's almost become essential or imperative to kind of take those extra lengths to ensure that no wastage appears and you don't ultimately hurt your email reputation, even LinkedIn.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're sort of nodding, and maybe unfortunately you've had an experience where you've had that poor data set from a provider. But I think the hardest thing for us as tech consultants is to find out whether someone's using your platform or not, right? So you'll get a list of 900 people in Sales Navigator, but how do you know that someone's using, Salesforce, NetSuite, HubSpot, Zoho, Monday, the list goes on, right? It's really difficult to do that. And we've tried everything. I know, Tom, you and I have done some an exercise about 18 months ago to try to match some data. And we've used Built With, we've used so many different platforms, but you've got a new way of doing it, which I only found out from prepping for this call today around the competitor, using competitor followers. So if you could sort of take us through that, because when you told me, I thought, fantastic, this is a great new innovation, and take us through how you're doing that.
Yeah, sure. We're certainly seeing it's paying dividends against some of those other techniques that have become a bit more dated and not essentially that accurate in terms of using tools like Built With or relying upon Sales Navigator or Apollo's technographic filters. They're, again, a useful starting place. There seems to be a lot of inaccuracy within those kind of technographic filters. So we've kind of doubled down on using a strategy for our clients around competitive intelligence. So by understanding who our clients' main competitors are, so let's, for instance, say we're working with a HubSpot consultant within, say, the Melbourne area in Australia. They might be new to the market, but they might have a competitor that's been doing it for 10 plus years, that's very active on social. They've got a ton of followers on LinkedIn and other social platforms. So we've established the ability to kind of run competitive intelligence on our clients' competitors to ascertain, okay, who is their exact audience, who are their followers, who are their clients, and then really analyze that data and kind of cleanse it down to leave behind the individuals and the companies that would be relevant for our client to kind of cherry pick and try and kind of play that battle card approach of having the one up in these areas over their competitor. So it's a great technique to get very accurate data because these people are either working with your competitor or at least considering working with your competitor at some point in time. So it makes a great foundation for a target list.
Totally agree. And I think the way that we're working at the moment, if you think it's three legs to the stool, so I've got my client, I've got We Are Team Rocket, and I've got myself. And what we do is use, I suppose, different approaches to try to find, are they using a particular platform? So Salesforce, for example. So one way is to look at, what are they posting? Are they posting anything about on their LinkedIn profiles? The second one, are they got any job postings that are for a particular platform? And then the third way is to look for mutual connections. So if you've got a NetSuite account executive that is connected to the person, there's a pretty good chance they're on NetSuite. Conversely, Salesforce, etc. And it gets a little, the tier two platforms, I suppose that's a little bit less, but certainly the tier one platforms, that's the case. And what we do is sort of work through that to come up with different ways to help Tom and his data team to clean the data. And then what we also do is work collectively to come up with the messages. And, my client at the moment, incredibly smart guy, CTO in the Salesforce world, but has never had sales experience, has never done outbound messages before. And when he sent through his original messages, it's like, not the best. Then Tom showed me the messages that they use and, for different industries. And what I've been able to do is sort of craft the ones specific for tech consultants that we know that work. So, that's how it's working and it's coming together. And, I think the other thing I've found, Tom, from working with you guys so far is the the protection of your profile, right? If you're listening to this and you've lost your profile, you've had it suspended, you know how painful that can be given how powerful it is. So what are the ways that you go about making sure that that incredibly important asset is protected?
Yeah, so in kind of seeing the trend that LinkedIn has become really the dominant channel within B2B of a means to generate more leads and more revenue, we've kind of really doubled down in ensuring that we can provide scalable LinkedIn outreach solutions that can also be automated as well. And yeah, ensuring that the LinkedIn profile itself stays consistent, stays active, and is doing the upper echelons of outreach that LinkedIn allows every day is just pivotal to kind of ensure that consistent flow of leads over time. So yeah, we follow a really regimented set of protocols to ensure that we're using the right protection means to ensure that the logins are happening from the same area that our clients is based in. We're kind of avoiding overlap, to really minimizing any downtime on the LinkedIn outreach that we're doing, but also providing our clients with a means to scale it, because as you know, LinkedIn only allows you to send 400 to 500 connect requests per month on average. And then what do you do beyond that if it's working, but you have a much larger prospect universe size that you want to get in front of? We've really kind of doubled down internally and being able to provide our clients with additional profiles that we make over and rebrand as if they're working at their company to allow them to ultimately scale the approach that is working, not be limited by I only have my profile and my colleague's profile, and beyond that, reach a dead end otherwise.
Yes. Yeah, I think that that's really smart. And the other thing, just briefly, is the way you operate. I've moved recently to a platform called Airtable to manage my one-on-one clients, and that's been a significant improvement versus what used to be email and Google Documents. And it's hard for me because a lot of my clients have a particular platform. They might be a Monday partner. They don't want to use ClickUp, for example. So I've got to be Switzerland, and Airtable's done that. But I was really impressed by you guys that you use Airtable to help the client experience and do that. So how long have you been using Airtable, and what are some of the benefits you're seeing by using it with clients?
Yeah, for quite a long time now. I think we switched from using Google Docs over to Airtable maybe 5 or 6 years back, just because the design and the interface and the integrations are that much slicker. But yeah, we ultimately use Airtable as kind of a live dashboard between us and the client, where we can integrate all the outreach activity we're doing so that they have a central view within Airtable of all of the connections that have been achieved, all of the responses, all of the meetings, kind of nicely hierarchically ordered by value. It makes it much easier for our clients to have that live view of what's happening, what's come in, and ensure from their side that they're ultimately nurturing and acting upon that information.
The reason as I said before, to have Tom on because of that professionalism. So if you look at the way that they're getting the right data for the target list, you look at the way that they're protecting your account from, someone logging in, and, I know Tom logs in at the same address that you are in, the same region at, different times, et cetera, protect it. But then the use of Airtable and transparency, et cetera. Now, they're three of the things that I often haven't seen in other providers that we've used. And also the last one Tom said is that he does combine labor arbitrage, tapping into the Sri Lankan market. And if you haven't dealt with anyone from Sri Lanka before, I can tell you the experience is wonderful. And it's probably similar to the Philippines, I'd find, and a little different to some other experiences that we've had. The last one I want to briefly talk about is staff augmentation. So I know that you do more than just outreach, Tom. So what are some of the things you're doing from a staff augmentation point of view?
Yeah, so in the last year in particular, we've put a lot of emphasis into kind of pivoting into the staff augmentation space. That need has kind of grown out from our clients who we're initially providing a service to, but we've ultimately realized that there's a lot of bottlenecks in their business. Their team, the senior teams in particular, are doing a lot of monotonous, repetitive tasks that they just shouldn't be doing in their roles. So both in seeing that and in kind of seeing the global trend and need for staff augmentation and BPOs just exploding, combined with the fact that Sri Lanka is a real hotbed for the IT sector in the last 5 years. There's a lot of companies like IFS, for instance, with huge premises and staffing out of Sri Lanka, a lot of ERP capabilities as well. So yeah, it was in kind of seeing that trend and seeing that need from our clients meant that we really doubled down in ensuring that we can provide the ability to provide unlocks, match up talent either from our team or from our recruitment pool to assist our clients, whether it's with an executive assistant, with a cold caller, with an SDR, with a growth specialist, a social media specialist, a designer, a developer, an app developer. All of these kind of skill sets are really robust within Sri Lanka. And then the arbitrage of cost and geolocation makes it very efficient for our clients to capitalize on, plus the risk factor as well. Hiring in this way, kind of a remote worker, a staff augmentation unlock is both less costly and less risk than hiring internally in their own country. Plus, there's no overheads to it as well from the client side. So yeah, it's a model that we've seen working very well in Sri Lanka, and like you say, in countries like the Philippines and India. And we've really looked to capitalize on it for those reasons. And I know yourself have experienced it.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say that. So we've always had a gap for design. So, I've got a Coca-Cola background. Marketing and design is certainly something that was embedded in us for 18 years. But, I used to I couldn't meet my own standards is the short. So we got a designer now, Tishu, shout out to you. She is up my design. It's made a massive difference, and I've really enjoyed working with her. But then what we also do is help with the client. So the clients that are doing the outreach at the moment that we spoke about, they don't have any marketing collateral that Tom spoke of, like lead magnets, et cetera. And they've got the content, and AI helps to create the content, but the design's not there, right? So that's where you can either get someone direct yourself through Tom's team, or, for my clients, I basically become the allocator of tasks to them. And that just makes a huge difference. And all of a sudden, something you put off for months becomes something that comes out in 3 or 4 days. So it makes it a huge difference. And you can't just send, blank messages these days. That, like I said, too competitive, too hard to do that. So look, Tom, I could talk forever, and no doubt we'll have you back on as our clients have wins with you. We'll have back on to talk about those. We'll take a brief pause and go and thank our sponsors, and then we'll come back for the rapid fire. Running a tech consulting business can feel like a solo journey, but what if you didn't have to navigate it alone? Introducing the Tech Collective, your go-to resource for tackling those burning questions and unlocking your potential. Join a dynamic collective of experienced tech consultants ready to share insights, strategies, and support to help you today. Grappling with sales, clients, team challenges, our Tech Collective has your back. Join us today at paulhigginsmentoring.com/TC. There's a link in the show notes. There's a small application, and as a thank you for being a listener, enter the coupon code TC, capital TC25 at checkout. That's TC25 to get 25% off. Visit paulhigginsmentoring.com/TC today. So, Tom, what we're going to do now is rapid fire. I'm going to ask you 4 questions, get rapid responses. Are you ready for that?
Yep, let's do it. Let's go.
All right, great. So the first one is, what are some of the daily habits that help you drive the leadership of We Are Team Rocket?
Daily habits I've really made routine over the years is posting and commenting as much as possible every morning in terms of being active on the social channels and consistent. And one of my biggest ones is every day I ensure that I hand nurture 20 people in terms of sending a research crafted, personalized, thought out message. I kind of break that into 4 chunks of 5, be it targeting ex-clients and ex-POCs that we used to work with that are often the easiest to re-engage, reignite, and win back work with. 5 from the pipeline in terms of deals or opportunities that have gone a bit quiet and need some a bit of fire lit under them. Using intent data to ascertain like who are the 5 companies right now that are showing the highest signs of intent globally for things like lead generation agencies, demand gen, kind of pick them off. And the final one, just generally using LinkedIn to see who's putting in those keywords that relate to what we do, either with lead gen problem, or maybe they're looking to hire ahead of growth. So I know that I can solve that problem in a different way. So yeah, those are kind of the four ways that I look to target 20 individuals every single day, but by hand in a personalized approach, often using videos in the outreach as well. I'll do a little pre-recorded video or screen share of a strategy that I think would work well for them. And yeah, doing that consistently just works wonders to maintain and grow the pipeline over time.
Yeah, great. And look, on the next question I normally ask is around where do you find out more, but I'll quickly answer that by saying that I know you're a prolific reader. You also use an app that you told me about, which is Headway, which summarizes books and also podcasts. So I think there's sort of the key things, and you can tell that Tom's at the top of his industry when it comes to learning knowledge about top of the funnel. The next one is, what's one wish we could grant you?
Yeah, this was a tough one, but I think if you'd asked me this a couple of months ago, the answer would have been different. But back then, the wish for a long time was finding a way to unlock myself in the business, to allow myself to work on the business rather than in it. Is something that was always preached to me over the years, but I just struggled to actually achieve it. And that's made such a drastic difference in terms of kind of once you've found that kind of management team and the processes and workflows and SOPs and automations within your business, so it can be more self-sufficient and not reliant on me or bottlenecked by me or inhibited in its growth potential by me. That was always the kind of the dream and kind of what I wanted to achieve, but really struggled with. The last couple of months, I have actually been able to achieve that. And the staff augmentation solutions and unlocks have helped wonders, but that's really allowed me to focus on the things that I should have always been doing, but wasn't, because I was just sucked into my inbox or sucked into firefighting different client issues or staffing issues, which is not what a founder or CEO or head of growth should be doing.
Yeah, great. Well, the last question is, you said you've been in top of funnel for 11 years now. What do you know now that you wish you had have known at the start?
Besides what we just talked about and achieving that much earlier, I badly wish that I'd done that unlock kind of 5 years back now and not just 2 months back. That would definitely be up there. Other than that, I think the biggest one would be, I think there's an age-old problem that I often hear clients talking about, that they don't do for themselves what they're doing for their clients. Like, we are ultimately automation specialists, we're top of funnel specialists, we're demand gen specialists. That's what we enable for our clients cost efficiently in a scalable way. But for ourselves, it's always very stop-starty, and it's led to kind of peaks and troughs in our kind of own growth. So that's a huge learning, that ensuring that we're as regimented in our processes and automation strategies of outreach for ourselves as we are for our clients. It was a huge one.
Excellent. Well, Tom, like I said, it's been a pleasure working with you and your team, and I know that my clients thoroughly enjoying that, and we've got some more coming your way. And what I'll do is put further information in the outro for you to contact Tom. But it's Tom Simpson, weareteamrocket.com. And Tom, thanks for coming on today.
No, it's been a pleasure, Paul. Thank you for having me.
That was a great interview with Tom, and I know it went a bit longer than normal, but there was a lot of value to give you. And, I love the fact that he talked about the new initiative on competitor analysis. The way that they do the whole outreach is hugely professional, which, you heard me say a couple of times. If you want to, or if you need some help, please reach out to me. I can introduce you to Tom, or reach out to Tom directly. The link's in the show notes. And also that staff augmentation design in particular has really made a huge difference so you'll see all of the new work that his team has been doing for me, but also some of our other clients as well. So tap into that. Reach out to Tom on LinkedIn, thank him, and also ask him any direct questions. Share it with your peers, because that's the way that we grow this show, is through you sharing it to others, and they love you for it. You can check out the episode once again on YouTube at the Paul Higgins Mentoring channel, and I'll see you next time on the Paul Higgins Show. Time for action. Let me know what you implemented from the show. I promise to respond. Plus, get the Tech Consultants Roadmap at paulhigginsmentoring.com/roadmap.